Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear students, welcome to our online learning session. Last class we completed chapter 20, and inshallah in this class we will see chapter 21 from module 5. The chapter name is Building Blocks of Life, Cell and Tissues. So dear students, we know that when a small wall is built in the house, you have a wall, small wall, a number of bricks are arranged end to end. Okay, we need bricks to build a wall. Okay, so similarly, cells are arranged in the body. Okay, so that organs are made and organs make up the body. So we cells divide to give more cells, and a group of cells form tissues, and tissues make organs, and organs make the body. In this lesson, objectives for us, after completing this lesson, inshallah, we will be able to recognize cell is the structural and fundamental unit of all living organisms, and also we'll be able to state the cell theory. When you say fundamental unit, as I said, for a house, the fundamental unit is, for a house building, the fundamental unit is a brick. The brick forms walls, walls form rooms, and rooms form houses. So the fundamental unit of a house is a brick. That's an example. Like that, fundamental unit for an organism, for a body, for a living organism is a cell. And the next point is that we will be able to differentiate what is prokaryotic cell and what is eukaryotic cell. That is the second objectives. And we will be able to list the similarities and the differences between a plant and an animal cell, plant cell and an animal cell. And we will be able to describe cell organelles. Organelles are the parts which are found in the cells, and also we will be able to state their functions. Then we will be able to mention the importance of cell division. Cell division is a process in which new cells form. Original cells are there, they divide in and form new cells. So we will be able to explain the importance of cell division, and then we'll be able to define what is a tissue and describe in brief the various plant and animal tissues. And finally, we'll be able to give an idea of stem cell technology and its use. That is the final thing. Okay, let's inshallah get into the topics. The first topic is cell, the structural and the functional unit of organisms. The cells give the structural unit, okay, and also functional unit. They are not just, if you take the brick in a house, it gives structure, but it's not a functional unit. So if when we say cell as a structural unit, it gives the shape for the tissue and organism body, and also it has certain functions. For example, we have muscle cells, we have kidney cells, they have certain different functions. So the invention of microscope helped in the discovery of the cells. We cannot see the cells with our naked eyes, bare eyes, we cannot see the cells. So when the microscope was invented, it helped the scientists to discover the cells. Robert Hooke was the scientist who discovered the cell in 1665. He observed a thin piece of cork, you know, a cork-like structure, under his simple microscope, and saw many compartments, that is many cells like arranged like the honeycomb. If you would have seen honeycomb, like that, he saw under his simple microscope. So he named these compartments as cells. We know that even when we use this word cells in other places also, like room like cells. So the name it was given by the scientist because it has like compartment structure, like like a room like structure. So it was Latin word, it is called cella. It is actually from a Latin word which is called as cella, which the meaning of this word is compartment. Okay. Cell theory. So what is cell theory? And later after that, cell theory was formulated by two German biologists, M.J. Schleden and T. Swan. And their cell theory states that the first point is that cell is the structural and functional unit of all living beings. All the living beings, whether it's single cellular or multicellular. Single cellular organisms will have only one cell, and multicellular organisms will have multiple cells. So cell is the structural and functional unit of all living beings, and bodies of all organisms are composed of cells. We know that. The second point is that all new cells arise by division of pre-existing cells. So we know that cells are there, then how do new cells are formed? So the theory is that these new cells arise from division of the pre-existing cells. The third point is that the functions of an organism, any function, an organism, are an outcome of the combined activities. Okay, there are many cells, so there are combined activities and the interaction of the cells that make the organism. So the function of an organism is basically the combined activities of the cells and also the interaction between the cells that make the function of the organism. So finally, a cell may be defined as the structural and functional unit of living organisms which is capable of independent existence. Okay, they will have independent existence because the food will be created by the cell and they can divide into multiple cells. So the definition is a cell may be defined as the structural and functional unit of living organisms which is capable of independent existence. Okay, let's go into see the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. So there are two cells generally classified into two cells, prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. So all the cells have three basic parts. So when you take human face, when someone asks you what are the basic parts in the human face, what will you say? You will say humans have eyes, they have nose, they have mouth and ears. These are the basic parts of the human face. But when you go into detail, you will see the mouth, inside that you have lips. I mean, you have teeth and lips are there, and then tongue is there. Like that, you will say. But when you say basic parts, like general parts, so like that, all the cells have three basic parts. First one is that cell membrane, which limits the cell and gives it shape. Membrane means uh, a screen like, okay, a membrane means a screen like layer. So it is the outer covering of the cell which limits the cell. Okay, so it contains the cell and gives it shape. So the membrane, cell membrane is the first basic part. Second one is the DNA, which means deoxyribonucleic acid. So you just remember that as a DNA, it's a genetic material. It carries the genetic instructions from one generation to the next generation, as we have previously mentioned in the previous lessons. So this DNA, which may be contained in a nucleus, okay, is the second basic part. Third is that a fluid called as cytoplasm, filling in the space within the cell. So in the inside the cell, space will be there, so it will be filled by a fluid called as cytoplasm. This is the third part. So the main difference when we say this cell is prokaryotic and this cell is eukaryotic, the main difference is based on where the DNA of the cell lies. Okay, where the DNA of the cell lies in the cell. Uh, Based on that, the cell is differentiated into prokaryotic and eukaryotic. If the DNA of the cell lies in the cytoplasm, okay, then that will be called as prokaryotic. If it is inside the enclosed nuclear membrane, then that will be called as eukaryotic. This is a general definition. Inshallah, we will see more about uh, the prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. So when we talk about prokaryotic cell, it is from a Greek word. Pro means before and karyon means nucleus. It's in the Greek language. So, as I said, prokaryotic cell means the DNA will not be there inside the nucleus. Okay, the first point is that the prokaryotic cells do not have a well organized nucleus. Eukaryotic cells, they will have a proper nucleus, but prokaryotic cells, they will not have a well organized nucleus. The genetic material is a single molecule of DNA. As I said, it lies in the cytoplasm, not in the nucleus, but in the cytoplasm. So, uh, not only the nuclear membrane is absent, cell organelles, cell organs like mitochondria, lysosomes, and endoplasmic reticulum, chloroplast, nucleolus, etc. These are the some parts of organelles of cells. Don't be scared of these names. Inshallah, we will read more about the functions of these organelles. So these are also not present in prokaryotic cells. Examples are bacteria and blue-green algae. So when you are asked about the prokaryotic cell, you should be able to remember these points. Then next is eukaryotic cell, and it is from the Greek word "eu," that is true. Okay, the meaning of "eu" is true. Karyon is nucleus, so nucleus is true. That is, nucleus is properly present in the cell. So the new DNA is enclosed in a nuclear membrane, forming a nucleus. Will have a membrane, that is outer covering, and the DNA is enclosed within that, and the genetic material is made up of two or more DNA molecules which are present as a network of chromatin fibers. So uh, chromatin fibers are basically, the DNA is the nuclear material, so they have to be kept inside the nucleus. So the protein molecules are covered, okay, they are like roped along with the DNA so that they stay, okay, and that is what is called as chromatin fibers. You got it? So chromatin fibers is basically DNA is tied around with protein, that you have to remember. Okay, so uh, they are present as a network of chromatin fibers when the cell is not dividing. So when the cell is not dividing, at that time the chromatin fibers uh, will be there. Chromatin fibers is basically, the chromatin is that DNA and protein combined structure, okay, to keep the DNA molecule. And the membrane bound organelles, the membrane bound organelles means the organs which are covered with membranes, okay, to protect them, such as mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, lysosome, chloroplast, nucleolus, etc., are present within the cytoplasm. They are not present in the nucleus but are present in the cytoplasm. Here you can see the nucleus and the other parts in the space, that is the cytoplasm, and in that other membrane bound organelles are present. So examples: cells of plants, fungi, protozoa, and animals. So here they have given diagram of eukaryotic cells and prokaryotic cells. You, if in the exam, if they ask you, you have to draw this. It's very easy. You just draw a cell and membrane is there, and you have nucleus inside, and nucleolus is present inside, and nucleus. Nucleolus is a part of nucleus which has an important function in making proteins in the cell, and mitochondria is there. And when you take this is the eukaryotic cell, and prokaryotic cell, you don't see a proper nucleus, so that is called as nucleoid, and you have a capsule. Flagellum is it's a part, it's used in the locomotion, that is for movement of the bacteria. So cell wall, cell membrane is there. So ribosomes, these are some of the organelles. Inshallah, we'll see more in detail. So structure of a typical eukaryotic cell structure. Okay, so now we are going to see the structures. Here, the cells within the body of a multicellular organism differ in shape, size, and function. The many cells are there in the multicellular organisms, but they differ each other in shape, size, and function. For example, humans have brain cells, we have bone cells, we have muscle cells. Yeah, so all of them differ in shape, size, and also in function. All of them do not have same functions. So, but they all have three basic parts. First one is cell membrane, as I told, and cytoplasm and nucleus. Here you can see it's a prokaryotic cell. Uh, Here there is a prokaryotic flagellae. It helps in the movement of the cell. Ribosomes, capsule, cell wall, plasma membrane. Cell wall will be there, and then plasma membrane pili is there. Pili are used in the absorbing of the nutrients. This is in the nuclear region, DNA. There is no proper nucleus in the prokaryotic cell, so that where DNA is present, that is called as nucleoid region. So here it's a eukaryotic cells, well developed cells. It has plant, they have given plant and animal cell. So this is a plant cell, and this is an animal cell. You have to draw and remember this. uh, for drawing of eukaryotic cells, plant and animal cell, draw 3, 4, 5 times, okay, or more than that, maybe 10 times, so that you remember well, inshallah. Okay, you mark the label the parts like this. Okay, I've seen some of your seniors drawing cells when they were asked in the examination, but they did not mark the they did not label the parts, but you have to label the parts when you write down. Okay, so that you remember how a ribosome looks, cytoplasm looks, what is centriole, everything you have to draw properly and mark down in the examination. And even while you practice, you have to do that. And then uh, there are parts that are common to both animal cells and plant cell. Okay, um, I don't know if we can finish in this class. um, okay, let's go, no problem, sir. So there are parts common to both animal cells and plant cells. First one is cell membrane or plasma membrane. Okay, its key features are it's a thin, delicate membrane enclosing the cells. It surrounds a cell. It's a thin, delicate. Okay, it's not strong, but a delicate membrane. The second feature is that it forms outermost covering in animal cell and inner to cell wall in plant cell. Okay, outermost covering. It is the outermost covering for the animal cell, but when it comes to plant cell, plant cell will have a cell wall. Then next to that. Um, uh, Cell membrane will be there. Okay, plasma membrane will be there. So it is selectively permeable, that is it will allow only particular molecules. It will not, permeable means like allowable. Okay, selectively permeable means it will allow only selective uh, this thing, selective nutrients or any things that has to be transferred uh, into the cell. It will selectively allow that. The functions are like selectively permeable, so allows only selected substances to pass in and out of the cells. So whether some substances have to be passed into the cell or passed out of the cell, it will selectively allow the cells. And it protects the cell from injury, because when the cell is surrounded, it's not surrounded by a membrane, then it will be injured easily. So it protects the cell from injury, and also it maintains the shape of the cell. Then the next part is the cytoplasm. It is the inside cell and excluding the nucleus. So it is translucent. That is, it is um, translucent in the sense um, like a transparent, semi-transparent. Okay, it's not completely transparent, but light can pass through that. And it is homogeneous. That is, homogeneous is made up of only one single uh, molecule like. Okay, it's not made up of multiple molecules or multiple uh, what do you say, homogeneous is basically when you take some other organs, it's made up of like for example, if you take water, it is homogeneous, it is only made up of water. But if you mix water with some solid like sand, then it is not homogeneous. So this is the definition of homogeneous. Okay, I hope you get what I'm saying, trying to say. And colloidal is like paint, you know, water is there or oil is there, and it is equally mixed with small particles of other substance. So like paint, example paint. So colloidal semi-fluid, semi means half, so semi-fluid, filling the space between plasma membrane. Fluid is completely fluid. Semi-fluid means it will have some solid particles filling the space between plasma membrane, okay, and the nucleus. So when you have plasma membrane, outer membrane, and nucleus will be there inside, so rest of the part it is filled with cytoplasm. So cell organelles are present in it. So we told that the cell organelles, that is cell organs, they are actually present in the cytoplasm. So the functions are that it helps in manufacture and distribution of substances within the cell. So manufacturing and distribution of substances within the cell, and in exchange of materials between different cell organelles. Okay, different cell organelles, different cell organs are present inside the cell. So exchange of materials between them, it is done through cytoplasm. Then nucleus, and it has nuclear membrane. Then inside that nucleolus is a part of nucleus. Then that is the nucleus. Then this is cytoplasm here. So it's small, located in or near the center of the cytoplasm, bound by a nuclear membrane, nuclear covering, and network of chromosomes present as chromatin. So chromatin is basically a combination of DNA and protein. Okay, and when the chromatin forms the chromosomes. So one or more rounded nucleoli. Nucleoli, as I told, it's a part of the nucleus. It is present in the nucleus. They have function like making of protein in the cells. So function of the nucleus is that it coordinates the activities of the entire cell. Okay, it coordinates the entire activities of the entire cell. Okay, like a brain for our body. So it contains the genetic material or DNA. That's it. Inshallah, next class we will see from here the cell organelles found in cytoplasm. I hope you all understood what I told. Please study well. Barakallah feekum. Inshallah, we'll see in the next class. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik.